Hey folks, so we're here today to talk a little bit about innovation. Actually, how companies are not thinking about innovation the right way. There's a lot of misconception of what innovation is, how it should be treated. So we're here to talk about that.
Yeah, and I'm Adam Rushilelli.
I'm Odimus.
Tell us what you've seen, Armis,
Right.
as far as what's not been going well when it comes to companies' approaches to innovation.
Yeah, so it seems like a lot of organizations are looking at innovation as if they need to get it right the first time around. And it's the way that they're structuring their funding. So there's a big block of money, and once we spend this money, we're done. And if we succeed, great. If we don't, everyone's heads roll. So it's really not the right approach for this. Another thing that we see a lot is companies tend to do a lot of requirements up front. And requirements are fine, but when it takes you 3 months or 6 months to ideate around a product, it kind of loses that velocity and some of that agility that you actually look for in your innovation team, because you need to be able to pivot as you go. So those are the bad things that we see, and we think there's really a better way to think about it.
A lot of companies feel like innovation is some kind of magic process. Innovation is really the result of just some steps, some mechanical steps that a lot of companies are already using. They just need to think about it maybe a bit differently. I think the first starting point is that idea. You need an idea to try. And when I say the idea, I think that's part of the problem too. A lot of companies think we need to have the idea. We can't embark on anything until we understand that this idea is 100% going to be successful. And that's where companies fall down. They should have a number of ideas, and instead of putting so much pressure on delivering that one idea and the success of that one idea, try little ones very quickly. Speed your testing segment as quickly as possible.
And there are good tools for that, right? So when you think about ideas and when you think about validating out of the portfolio of things that you have in your company, it's making operations leaner, and it's serving your customers better, or improving customer experience, and reducing paper workflows in the organization so everything's digitized. When you think about those ideas, there are tools like rapid prototyping and lean requirements and all of these lean thinking methodologies that would allow you to take a fraction of the investment, really a insubstantial dollar amount, and validate stakeholder buy-in, validate market buy-in, test it with your users, your existing customers, a new market segment if you want. So there's tools.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. When you talk about the funding, this idea of corporate investment, of budgets and huge chunks of money is very different than where the innovation in startups occur. And that's more of a venture capital type model where an idea comes about and a small seed round is provided for them to validate that idea. They don't go and take an idea and give a B round of funding an enormous amount of money. You start small, gain traction with that, get a user base that has an appreciation for it, and then then you build from there with incremental investment.
And that, I think, flows into the other side of this topic is the culture that's necessary to support innovation or support the behavior that allows innovation to flourish. And that's really the idea of failure, right? And you talk to any Fortune company and you talk about failure, and that's something that's negative, right? Failure is not tolerated. Whereas where we see is the successful partners that we work with that are successful in innovating and bringing products to market and making those products successful, they're not afraid of failure. They're allowed to do short sprints. They're allowed to validate or even scratch those ideas that they're validating. So again, like we talked about, budgeting small pieces, then testing those pieces, and if they're no good, just tossing them out the window. So I think that shift in culture and thinking, and shifting to a more product-oriented thinking and allowing the teams to fail, allowing them to innovate and be creative in the process, also leads to a much more successful approach.
So in summary, it's the ideas, it's having those small ideas, it's testing them quickly, it's funding them in a way that's lower risk and less pressure in general around delivering the big innovative idea, and it's moving quickly, to test and validate and get something to market.
And to move quickly, and we specifically, we know software, so we're in the software space, but to move quickly, you can look at all of these methodologies. Just to repeat them again, rapid prototyping, lean requirements, user research, user testing, persona validation, implementing analytics like Mixpanel or some other products to see how your product is operating in the field. All of those tools and methodologies, some of them are human, some of them are software driven, allow you to make better decisions, fail faster, iterate faster, and ship product to market much quicker. So combining culture with processes and tools, you can be much more successful in allocating those funds and getting some results. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.